It all began with a betrayal, but no one imagined an iguana would see everything. Before the lions roared, before the king signed the decree, and before a brave man stood up to the empire, a small creature was already sneaking through the palace's secrets. And even though no one knew it, that story would change the fate of an entire kingdom.
The great Babylonian Empire, where the hanging gardens touched the sky and the towers seemed to speak with the stars, there lived a wise man named Daniel. He wasn't Babylonian. No, Daniel came from a faraway land, brought there as a prisoner years before. But over time, his intelligence, honesty, and faith in God had made him one of King Darius's most trusted advisors. Daniel didn't just solve difficult problems. He had a kind heart, and what set him apart most was his habit of praying 3 times a day, no matter how busy he was. But this story isn't just about Daniel. In a tiny crack in the palace wall lived a very peculiar iguana. Not just any iguana. His name was Iggy, and he had big googly eyes, a twitchy tongue, and a curiosity that knew no limits. Iggy didn't know much about politics, but he did know one thing. Daniel was always up to something interesting, and sometimes he had fruit in his pocket. "Iggy, get out of there," scolded a dove that lived nearby. "One day you're gonna get yourself in trouble." But Iggy would laugh his classic spin in place and leap from branch to branch like a tiny wingless dragon. Iggy liked to follow Daniel. From the rooftops, he watched him pray, work, help others, and talk to the sky all by himself. Who's this weird human talking to, he'd wonder. And why does he smile while he does it? One day, Iggy dared to get close to Daniel while he was praying at his window. Daniel looked at him and said gently, "Even you can pray, little friend. God hears even the smallest ones." Iggy didn't quite get it, but something in his scaly little heart stirred. And that's how it all started. While Daniel was earning the king's respect, he was also gaining the quiet company of an iguana who, without knowing it, would become a witness to one of the most incredible nights in the history of faith. And just when everything seemed calm, a trap was starting to take shape in the shadows of the palace. Daniel's enemies were closing in, and not even Iggy, with all his agility, could stop what was coming.